What's up, guys? My name is Alan, and welcome to episode 7 of this Revit beginners tutorial here on YouTube. So in this episode, we are just going to take off from wherever we left off in episode 6. So in episode 6, we pretty much just modeled out our washroom walls and had a little bit of some amendments in our room design. So let me head into the first floor and let's have a feel of what we have in there. Okay, so we have all this modeled out in there, and also in our second floor we just aligned and we just copied to clipboard, and then we selected and aligned them to the selected levels. So if you followed through from episode 1, you should understand why we have all this in the second and the third and the fourth as well. So in this episode, let me just get back into the ground floor plan. You can get back into your ground floor plan by just clicking on this ribbon right here, or you can just go into the floor plans tab and just click on it right there. So you can also get that over there. All right, so I said one more thing is that I've noticed some architects or some firms usually like their walls to be darkened. All right, they want their walls to stand out, so they mostly leave all the walls in a dark or in a solid fill black hatch. So someone asked me how would he be able to achieve that. So it's very simple. All you have to do is to go into your visibility graphics. All right, you can go into your visibility graphics by getting into the properties panel, and then you see it right here, visibility graphics, or you can just hit the shortcut VG on your keyboard and then it comes out, or you can just go into the properties panel and then you click on edit right there, and then you are going to have the visibility graphics there as well. So we are going to use the shortcut because I prefer the shortcut. So just hit VG on your keyboard and then you have a pop-up menu. When you have a pop-up menu, you would want to scroll down and just look for walls. All right, we want to make all our walls a solid black hatch. So we have our walls in there. You can see we have our walls on this line right here, and we can decide to leave our walls on a half tone, which means our walls is going to be the color of our walls is going to be in a half tone, so it's not going to be really black. All right, it's going to be grayed out a little bit, and I don't want that. I want my walls to stand out. So some people usually leave their walls on a solid black color. All right, so now what you want to do is, you notice if you've ever used Excel before, you notice this thing is divided. All right, it's divided. It has into two parts. You see we have the cut side and we have the projection surface. All right, so when you move to the cut side, all right, when you move to the cut side, you want to go to your, when you click on the wall line right there, you would want to, when you move to the cut side, you want to move to the pattern. All right, when you get to the pattern, you just click on override, and then what you want to do on the pattern is that you want to select a solid fill. All right, a solid fill, and then you move down to the background where you are going to choose a solid fill as well, and then you just click on OK, hit on apply, and just click on OK right there. And then you notice all our walls are grayed out in a solid black form. So when you move into the first floor, you notice it hasn't applied to the first floor. That is because the visibility graphics we worked on is view oriented. It only applies to a specific view, just the view that you are on. All right, now I'm going to that was just by the way how you can achieve a solid black color. So I'm going to move back. I'm going to hit on Ctrl Z on my keyboard to undo everything I've done over there. So I've undone all those stuff. I don't want my walls to be solid black. That was just by the way. So I'm going to head straight into the mezzanine floor. All right, yeah guys, and one more thing, I pretty much said something that I didn't want my walls in the washroom to go all the way up hitting the next level. I want it to move from the ground floor and go up about 2.6 meters. All right, so I'm going to do that changes now. I'm going to do those changes now. Now let me just select this wall. When you select this wall, and you notice all those walls are exactly the same kind of walls we used in the washrooms. All right, They're the same kind of wall we use in the washrooms. And I want all my washroom walls, I want them not to go all the way up. I don't want them to move all the way. I don't want all those washroom walls to move all the way up to that level. All right, I don't want them to go all the way touching the mezzanine floor. So let me go into the ground floor in an elevation view so you see what I'm talking about. So the walls will start from the ground floor, and then they are going to hit the mezzanine floor. And I don't want those washroom walls to exactly touch the mezzanine floor. I want them to be somewhere around this area, about 2,600. So I'm going to go back into the ground floor, and you guys can see how I'm going to achieve that. Now, one way someone can achieve that is by actually cutting a section, and then they'll pull that down, which is a lot of work, because you'd have to cut a section through all the kind of washrooms. It's a lot of work. So what you have to do is you just click on any of the walls. All right, since it's the same type of wall we used in the entire washroom, or is the same family type of wall we used in the entire washrooms, you just click on one, and then you right click beside that wall right there, and then you want to move to select all instances visible in view. You're going to see select all instances. All right, when you move right beside it, you're going to have another pop-up which is going to say visible in view or in entire project. All right, so we have that just on the ground floor, so I just want to choose visible in view. If I had that in the entire project, I'm going to be doing that. So we are going to choose visible in view, and then you're going to notice it's selected just exactly all those walls we used in the washrooms. All right, now what you want to do next is to move into the properties panel. When you get into the properties panel, you are going to see your top constraint. All right, you have a top constraint there, and we have a base constraint. The base constraint, I've explained that in several videos. I'm going to be assuming none of you guys know this. So the base constraint means it's where the wall is going to sit on. All right, the base of the wall. So let's say the wall is starting from the ground floor, so you have to put your base constraint on the ground floor. If it's starting from the first floor, you have to leave it on the first floor. Just move on this pop, you just click beside it. You are going to have a drop down menu, and then you want it to start from the first floor. That is your business. So you can our wall was starting from the ground floor. Now the top constraint is my problem. I don't want it to go up to the mezzanine floor. As you can see, I don't want it to hit the mezzanine floor. I want it to come down a little bit. So I'm going to want those walls to get to, I'm going to move all those walls to unconnected. All right, now when you move it to unconnected height, it has 3,500, which is exactly the ceiling height we did for our design. So I'm going to when you move it to unconnected, you now have the feature of kind of placing in the specific height you want for those walls. All right, so I want those walls to move up all the way. Initially it was 3,500. all right, now I want them to move all the way up to 2,000. Kind of just select it, and then I want them to move all the way to 2,600. all right, 2,600 millimeters. When you move your mouse pointer in, you notice it registers that in there. So I'm just going to click on any space on the keyboard right now. Now I want to check if I have really achieved that. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a section. I'm going to cut a section through this wall to actually see that. So what you want to do is just find your section 2. It's just going to be right on this tab right here, or this tab. You're going to see your section 2 right here. It looks like some sort of like an arrowhead, so you just have to click on that, and then you're going to draw a section through there. I want to see what it looks like. So we've drawn our section through there. Let me move the section line backwards a little bit. All right, so now to view your section, you can actually just click on the arrowhead. You can just click on top of the arrowhead like 2 times, and then it opens up that section right there. So you can see our wall doesn't go all the way up. Going all the way up, hitting the mezzanine floor. All right, it comes down a little bit, which is what we wanted to achieve. All right, so we can actually change the height anytime we want. We can bring it up to 2,500. That depends on our design and what we want. So I'm going to cancel out of there, and I'm going to delete that. I'm going to delete the section line out of there. Make sure you hit on OK. So I'm going to change that. I'm going to make it 2500. So it's the same procedure. Select all instances visible in view, and then I'm going to move this to unconnected. It's already at unconnected, and we're going to change this to 2500. So we have our 2500 in there for all those kind of walls, all those walls in there. And now we're going to move to what we want to move and start doing is our mezzanine floor. Let's head into our mezzanine floor at the moment. Let's head into our mezzanine floor. We don't have anything on our mezzanine floor, which is bad. So we are going to start modeling out spaces in our mezzanine floor. So what we are going to do is we want this same space also on the mezzanine floor. So I'm going to go into the ground floor, and then I'm just going to select all this. All right, hold down the control key to multi-select, guys. Just hold down the control key to multi-select. So I'm just going to select all these walls, and then what you want to do is you would want to hit on this copy tool right here, this copy tool. When you hit on it like about 3 times, just a couple of times, I've just hit on it like 3 times, and then you're going to see your paste is now active. So you would want to click on the drop down menu right beside it, and then you now make sure you select aligned to selected levels. All right, not aligned to current view, not aligned to same place. When you align to same place, it's going to be in the same place where it is. All right, or align to a picked level. All right, which we haven't done that. So we are going to align to selected levels, and we want that to move to the mezzanine floor. So I'm going to select the mezzanine floor, and then I'm going to hit on OK right there. Now let me head into the mezzanine floor. You notice we have our wall created in there, and this washroom wall is also going to be in the same height of 2500. Sorry, you can see that in this the same 2500. All right, so what we want to do is just draw this. So I'm hitting on that wall and typing CS on my keyboard, and I'm going to draw this. I'm going to draw this all the way from here, and I'm going to let it touch this wall right here, and I'm also going to mirror this to the other side. So I'm going to hold down my control key like what we have been doing, and then we want to mirror this to the other side. So we just have to hit on our mirror tool right here, and then you make sure you find the midpoint, all right, the center of that wall right there, and then you click on it and move your arrow upwards. All right, don't tilt your arrow to even an inch of an angle. Just make sure it's 90 degrees, and then you just click on that, and you guys will notice it's not aligned exactly to that, right? It's not straight in there. So I'm going to hit on Ctrl Z to undo that. Now I'm going to practice that again. I'm going to hold down my control key and select all these walls in there. Make sure I multi-select them, and then I hit on my mirror tool right there. When I hit on the mirror tool, I just have to find the midpoint, make sure I send it up, and then click right there. And now you guys will notice it's exactly aligned or exactly straight to that wall right there. It's exactly to that angle right there. All right, what's wrong with this washroom? Okay, so we can actually move this to align with that down there. Let's just select this wall and make sure it's up there. All right, it looks like my walls are not aligned to exactly what is down on the mezzanine floor. So I'm going to undo that again. I'm going to undo that. Now I'm going to want to move to the ground floor. I'm going to move to the ground floor, and I'm going to rather select all these on the ground floor on the other side, and then I'm going to hit on copy on my copy to clipboard, and then I'm going to do the same procedure, align to selected levels, and I'm going to select the mezzanine floor. So I'm going to move into the mezzanine floor. Perfect. So now we have our wall sitting exactly to that same height. I don't understand why it didn't perfectly match with that, but anyway, so we are going to click on any of these walls, and then I'm going to just click on any of that wall, and then CS to create similar of that wall, and then I'm going to draw this to end with that wall right there. All right, let me see where that was going. Up to first floor. All right, so it's ending exactly on that wall right there, and we are going to draw all this. So just hit on that and then CS on your keyboard, and then we move this all the way here and move this all the way here. It's just the same thing, guys. Make sure you just do the same thing. So you're just moving all the way here. You can see I'm drawing all those walls right here. Now this place is going to be a lot of work. I'm going to go back into the ground floor, and then I'm going to mirror this. I'm going to just push all these items to the mezzanine floor. Right, I'm very lazy and I don't want to go and now draw all those things. So I'm now going to hit on copy and then click on that drop down menu, align to selected levels. We want everything we have copied to go to the mezzanine floor. All right, exactly on the mezzanine floor, and it should align right there. So let's go back into our mezzanine floor, just right on this ribbon right here, and it is exactly where we want it. So we are going to click on this and we are going to divide this as well. We are going to divide this as well, and we are going to want to divide this as well. Again, we are going to want to divide this. It should be exactly on the same line. So this area here is going to be like a staff common room for staff workers, and this place is going to be a general office for managers and staff, and this is going to be services area, and this is going to be a saloon. All right, now some of you guys are going to wonder why I'm placing a saloon in this design. So my mom owns a saloon at La Palm Royal Beach Hotel in Ghana. She owns a saloon here in the hotel, so I want to probably just put a saloon there. You might never know. You might never know, maybe someone's mom might also need a saloon. So shout out to my mom anyway. She's a terrific mother. So I'm just placing the saloon here to just honor my mother. So this place is going to be a salon. So you can actually decide what you want it to be. So you can probably just make it anything you want. Maybe just another shop or something, a store where they can sell all these African clothes and all that. So you can place that in that space right there. And also we are going to want to divide this. So we are going to hit on CS on our keyboard, and then we are going to create similar. So we are going to want to divide this. Now that wall should move exactly, let me measure that for you guys to see. So it should move exactly about, yes, you can see that. So you can click on that wall right there and then just zoom in, and then you would want that wall to move exactly 5 meters away from that wall. All right, exactly 5 meters, guys. So make sure you do that. So I'm going to delete that dimension tool out of there. So we have our design pretty much shown in here. We have everything we need now on the mezzanine floor. We have that in there. So I'm going to turn off my underlay for this floor. So just move into the properties panel and find underlay and then put it on none. All right, so you notice this is exactly what we have on the mezzanine floor. When you go to the ground floor, you can do the same thing. On the ground floor, the underlay is showing the ground level, which is nothing, so I can leave that just as it is. So I'm going to go into the first floor. I'm going to move into the first floor now, and we haven't done anything on the first floor. So we have to make sure we model out our spaces in the first floor. So our washroom is just going to be a bath over here. So our door is just going to come off in this space. We are going to have a door in here, and then our bath is going to be in here, and then we have a toilet seat, and then our sink in here. So it's just the same orientation in there. So we wouldn't need to model out anything in this space. So that is it for our first floor. So this is our balconies area, our balcony area. All these walls over here, we are going to make sure we change them, and we are going to put some railings in there. We are going to put some railings, all right, railings in there to just beautify what we have in there. All right, it's not going to be a plain wall covering there. It was just something we just pulled out. So we are going to put railings in there. So now let's get back into our ground floor plan. Let's see what we have. Now what I want us to do now is let's pretty much model out our the walls for our lift. So we are going to move into our wall tab. We're going to go into the wall tab. Now we would want to do this from the ground level. Let's go to the ground level. This it's not showing. Let's get back into underlay. Let's see what we have on the ground floor. So our detail lines don't show on underlay. All right, so I'm going to put that on none. I'm going to go back into the ground floor. I'm going to go back into the ground floor. All right, I'm just going to go back into the ground floor, and I'm going to draw that, but I'm going to change my base constraint to be the ground level. So I'm going to click on this wall right here. Make sure you're in the architecture tab, and when you click on the architecture tab, let's just look for any wall we can use for this job. Any wall we can use for this job. So let's just use the generic 200 mm, generic 200 mm for this. And what you'd want to do is hit on edit type. When you hit on edit type, as usual, you're going to have a type properties pop-up menu, and the first thing you'd want to do is duplicate. We are going to call this walls for lift. Walls for lift. So we are going to hit on OK on our keyboard. We are going to move into our edit type, and we are going to leave the thickness and the structure just as it is. I think we should add a finish face to it. Yes, let's make it white. So let's insert one layer. Let's just insert one layer to it, and we're going to move this layer up above over there. So when you select that layer that was just inserted, is that the layer you just inserted should have a 0.0 thickness, because we haven't assigned any thickness to it. So I'm going to move that up to above the core boundary, and then I'm going to change that to finish 2. I'm going to change that to finish 2, which means that layer is going to appear on the surface. And then with the material, as usual, we are going to put a gypsum wallboard just right there. So some of the materials, we are going to change them when we get into the rendering stage. So we have a gypsum wallboard. I would want to assign this material to it. Make sure your use render appearance is checked. Let's head into our appearance tab right here. We've already seen that appearance as well. We've seen that several times, countless times. So we just hit on OK, and then we're gonna click on, let's give it a thickness. Let's give it a thickness of about, let's give that a thickness of about 50 mm. Let's give it a thickness of 50 mm. Who cares? No one is going to find. So we've given it a thickness of 50 mm, and we are going to hit on OK on our keyboard, and then we are going to draw that wall right here. We are going to draw that wall, and we are going to draw, we can mirror it to the other side, so it's nothing, there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm going to hit on that wall, and then CS on my keyboard again, and then I'm going to create similar to join with that wall. So now I'm going to make sure I delete all those lines in there. Make sure I delete all those lines. All right, make sure you delete all those lines, guys. Just delete all those lines out of there. Just select it, and then you delete it out of the way. So we've deleted that, and I would want to select all those walls. And now with my base constraint, I'm going to change that to ground level. So it means it's going to start from the ground level, and I want the top constraint to move all the way up to the roof level. Now let's head into the 3D view. Let's see what we have done. So just this small tiny building right there, and you can see we have our lift created all the way up to the roof level. It's created all the way up to the roof level. Now let's get back into the ground floor plan, and let's just select this. So now let's delete, or make sure you delete all these lines out of the way, and then what you want to do is select all this, and we want to mirror it to the other side. All right, we just want to mirror this to the other side. We have a mirror to the other side, and then we are going to hit on our dimension to, let's see the space in between. Perfect. So we have about, let's try and deselect this. So we have about 3,947 in there. That's about 3.94 meters, 3.95 meters. So what we are going to do is we want to make sure all our dimensions are actually divisible by 5. That is going to make the boys or the people working on site It's going to make their work much easier, because it's going to be very difficult to get like figures like 2 and 3 on a tape measure. All right, it's going to be very difficult. So you do always want to make sure that all your final figures, all right, all the last figures, make sure they are always divisible by 5. All right, so with here our number can be divisible by 5, so we have to make it something like 3950 or 45, something like that. So let's just try and achieve that now. So I'm going to move this, I'm going to draw a line, and then from this, that's going to be the safest way. I'm going to draw a line, and then I'm going to hit on 3950 on my keyboard, or let me make it 3945 on my keyboard, and you see that line is going to end right here. So I'm going to select all these, hold down the control key, select all these walls, and then I'm going to want to move them to align exactly with that. All right, so I've moved that to align with that, and then I'm going to hit on the dimension tool again. Oh, so it's not aligned exactly with that. Okay, so make sure you select all those items again, hold down the control key, and then MV on your keyboard to move this backwards. All right, and then MV again to just move and make sure it's just touched with that line right there. All right, so let's go back and let's measure and let's see what we have in there. Beautiful. So we have our 3945 in there in our space, which is quite okay. So now the people can actually just work on site. If they should be building this or be constructing this design, they should have it easy on site. Now, so that walls are also going all the way up to the roof level. So let's just get into the 3D view. Let's see what we have in there. So all those walls have moved all the way up to the 3D. Now that's going to be our lift, guys. So make sure you know that that's our lift right there. So let's get into, so what we can do is we can actually create this line right there. To this, we can make a cross line. So you notice my line is not getting to pick the end point. So what you want to do is hit on SE to snap at end point. So it means that it's always going to be snapping at the end point right there. We can create this. It's always going to be snapping at the end point. So if it's not snapping at the end point, make sure you hit on SE and it will snap right there. All right, so we can also do this to simplify. It's going to be a void. All right, so but we are going to place a lift there. We have that Revit family, so we are definitely going to place a real lift in that space. Okay, so we are in the ground floor. We've pretty much modeled out a lot of stuff. We've worked on our mezzanine floor in episode 7. We've made sure our walls and our lifts are created. So in episode 8, we are going to be placing in some doors. Let's just see how our doors are going to come out in episode 8. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I'll catch you guys in episode 8. Peace out. I'm still working real hard on a Saturday. A future I don't see from a mile away.